Hello friends, I'm Sanyukta and today let us learn another new Zentangle original pattern. The pattern is called Assunta. Yes, a pattern is a sort of a grid based pattern and let us see how do we draw this pattern. It is again inspired from a piece of work which Maria had seen during her travel and mentioned all about it in one of her newsletters. So let us see how does the pattern start. I'm going to draw a rough pencil grid here, right? A square grid. The grid is used just as a reference. I am not going to pen the grid. It is used just as a reference point, right? And then I'm going to draw some straight horizontal and vertical lines, small ones. Again, these are also for reference. So you are seeing here I have drawn vertical and horizontal alternate lines in 3 of the rows, right? And 4 columns. Or I'll just make it equal. And now these lines I'm going to take their reference and draw the pattern Assunta, right? I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is use this line as a takeoff base and land on the opposite side. So I'm going to take off, draw a curve on both sides and land on the opposite line, right? So this is the basic step. This is a kind of half S shape, taking off from this line and landing on the opposite side. All these lines are to be used as a base for takeoff and landing on the opposite side. Now it is up to you how you want to draw it, right? You want to first draw all the horizontal or vertical lines, or first all the horizontal lines. It is entirely up to you. Or you can complete one block at a time, right? So let me see. We have started with a vertical line. Let us pick up all the vertical lines and draw these leaf kind of shape, right? This is the one. Again taking off and landing on the opposite side, right? Again taking off and landing on the opposite side with a kind of a half S shape, taking off and landing on the opposite side, taking off, landing on the opposite side, right? So we have used, I'm not using this one, right? Or you can, yeah, like that, right? So now we are left with these horizontal lines. So you can either rotate your tile or whichever way we are comfortable, right? If you rotate your tile, you will realize that this to be used as a base for takeoff, then you have to land on the opposite side like this, right? Again base as a takeoff and land on the opposite side, right? Again this line is a base for takeoff, land on the opposite side. Again this line is a base for takeoff, land on the opposite side. This line is a base for takeoff, land on the opposite sides, both sides, right? So the way you want to draw it, take the line as a base. You cannot draw a leaf like this, right? You will cut the line. If you have to take it as a base, you have to draw it like this, right? If you have to take this as base, you have to draw it like this, right? So that's how the pattern Assunta comes into being, right? So if this line has to be taken as a base, naturally you have to draw the leaf like this, and then this line taken as a base and a leaf like this, right? So you can already make out how the pattern is turning out to be, right? This line as a base and a leaf like this. This line as a base and a leaf like this. This line as a base and a leaf like this. So it is nothing but taking off from the line and landing on the side where it should, right? So this is the pattern Assunta. Now you will say it's pretty confusing. No, if you can make out, if you carefully see, the inside of this pattern looks something like inside of the pattern cadent, right? So what I'm actually doing is something like this, right? this is the inside of the kid end. This is what you will get inside the Assunta. You just have to complete the leaves, right? So once you get used to drawing the pattern in this fashion, you can draw it even without a grid or even without any reference points. For example, I can start with this, where I am ending again another leaf, right? Where I am ending again another leaf, where I am ending again another leaf, right? So this is the line here. So this, from here I can move in this direction or I can land here, right? So again, like this, and like this, right? So you need not draw any grid lines once you get used to drawing the patterns like this, right? And the inside of the pattern are alternating cadent shapes, right? Like this. One is like this, one on the opposite side, again on the next side. So what we have learned is draw a rough square grid, right? Then draw these horizontal and vertical small lines. You can even draw with pencil because they are mainly for reference, and then join these lines using the landing takeoff technique. Basically use those lines to take off from that point and land on the opposite side, right? So this is how the pattern Assunta looks. Now you can see that there is a space inside the pattern and these are beautiful leaves, right? So how can you use this pattern to create tangulations or variations? I will be posting some work that I have done with this pattern, right? We have by now learned a lot of patterns, right, through my video sessions. So just to show you a few examples how you can use the patterns that we have already learned for Assunta, with Assunta, inside Assunta, to create a tangulation or variation, I have drawn this work. And just to show you a few, these are all crescent moons that I have put inside Assunta, and you can see how my Assunta is looking, right? Just one variation of floor that I have put here. Floor itself has so many variations. If you try each of them, you can create 10 varieties of Assunta with floors only, right? So you can well understand how much, what is the, knowledge base you already have with you and how much can you create. So now let us start right away with our tile and draw the pattern Assunta with a simple tangulation, right? Since I have already tried to show you what kind of tangulations we can create, we'll draw a simple tile here, basically concentrating on how to draw the pattern, right? So my borders are in place with the 4 dots and with a sense of gratitude. Let me first draw a rough pencil grid. Again, it is for reference. If you wish, you can straight away start with the pattern, right? The grid is just a reference point. Just to ensure that the leaves are of almost equal shape and equidistant, right? So I'm going to draw this lines. Just for the sake of reference, right? And then let us start with our pattern. Take off from this line and land on the opposite side. Rotate your tile. Take off from this and land on the opposite side. Again, I am drawing in a different way here, completing one block here. Take off from here and land on the opposite side. Again, take off from here and land on the opposite side. So you can see here I have completed one block, right? Again, using this line, take off and land on the opposite side. Take off and land on the opposite side, using these lines as a base to land on the opposite side, right? Keep rotating your tile and you can complete one block and then move on to the next. This is also another way of drawing it, or you can draw in the way I showed you, right? So we can draw, I think, one more here. So I'll just draw these lines Yeah, like that. And I'll take off and land on the opposite, right? These beautiful petal shapes also provide you an excellent opportunity for tangleation, right? So you can decorate or play around with these leaf shapes also. Just put in a pattern inside and you create a tangleation, right? So you can see here I'm completing one block at a time, again using this base for takeoff and land on the opposite side, right? Using this line as for takeoff and land on the opposite side, right? Again keep rotating the tile, land on the opposite side, land on the opposite side. You have noted the inside shape are alternating cadence, right? So the lines are always used as a base for takeoff and the opposite side is the landing, right? You will never cut the line that you have drawn for your reference, and that is the checkpoint. So whichever way you want to draw all the horizontal lines first, you want to draw the vertical lines first, or you want to draw each block first, it's entirely up to you. I'm completing each block now, right? Just using the line as a reference for my takeoff and landing, right? On the last one now, so using this as a takeoff base and landing on the opposite side, using this as a takeoff base, landing on the opposite side, this as a takeoff base, landing on the opposite side, right? So use the lines as a base for takeoff and land on the opposite side. That is the basic thing. Once you learn the pattern, how it looks, you would not require a grid also. You can write, just draw it right away, just the way I showed you, right? So this is how the pattern Assunta looks, right? Now you can do a lot of variations, right? There is no limit to what you can do. So let us create a simple tangleation here. I'm drawing a simple pattern, also called DL sunrays sometimes, yes, not Zentangle original. You may call it a moon shape and then some lines emanating from there, right, like this. So I'm going to fill up my center in this way, right? We can alternate it. So just a moon, 1/4 of a moon, crescent moon, and then lines emanating therefrom. Simple thing to draw, not complex, right? Again alternate. Like this. So I am using my center as a string, or you can call it a reticula, and my real sunrays as a fragment, or creating a tangleation by combining two patterns, right? So I'm going to do the same activity with all these blocks, right? So I'm on the last section now, right? Going to complete this one, adding some lines emanating from the moon kind of shape that I've drawn. A pattern also called as DL sunrays, right? Now you can either leave your center plain, or if you wish you can add some printums on the wider side like this, right? So it is up to you. You can do a lot of variations. I already showed you a glimpse of how you can use the tangles that you have already learned to create variations, right? These variations are just using the tangles that we have already learned. There are so many tangles we are yet to learn, and there are also fragments that Maria and Rick give in their primer volume 1, which can also be used, right? So you can see the ambit of variation that you can create. It's endless, right? So just drawing these small printums at the beginning of the leaves. Entirely optional, you can keep the leaves plain also, they also look nice. Right? Almost done. So we'll now shade our tile. Right? I've added these printums at the beginning of the leaf on all. Yes. Now let us shade our tile. So I'm going to do some simple shading here. Add some graphite on this end, on one end of a center, right, of the leaf shape. Right. So adding some graphite on the other end where the printums are not drawn, right. Just a touch. Now let us merge it, smudge it, right. So just with a gentle hand, you can take it to one side if you wish. Don't cover the entire leaf, right. Make sure that you don't smudge it too much. Just carry it to one side if you want. Right, something like this. We have missed at a few places. Yeah. So I'm going to smudge it and take it to one of the sides, not covering the entire leaf, right? Something like this. Keep rotating your tile so that your hand is comfortable, and the hand is more or less in the same position. You don't have to move it much, right? So I'm just blending the graphite that I have put on the other end and taking it to one side. Right? Right? So I think some graphite here on the moon. There are various ways you can go about shading. You can also shade the inside of the center, right, on the line of the cadent. So depends how you have filled up the cadent. So in this sun rays, I think I will put some graphite on this inked portion, right? So I'm adding some graphite on the inked portion. Just going to smudge it a little, not too much. I don't want the entire inside to turn gray, so just a light hand. Right, you can also put a line inside or the cadent and then smudge it. It will look nice depending on what pattern have you put inside. Right, so this is a simple tile with the pattern Assunta. Right, I'm now going to initial my tile and sign and date it. And I'll see you with another Zentangle original pattern. So I hope you have understood how to draw this pattern. I'll be posting the other variations on my Facebook page Sanyukta Zentangle also. So see you then. Have a good time. Right.